All right, as you know, the president is seriously contemplating tariffs on foreign cars that got into this country up to 25%. Now, contrary to popular belief here, it's interesting when you read these financial literacy surveys and the rest, governments don't pay that, you do. So for your Honda or your Acura or your Toyota or your Mercedes, whatever, you would pay more for those vehicles, up to 25% more. To Global Automakers CEO John Bozzella on what could happen then. People aren't prepared for that. For one thing, they don't know the particulars, and for another, as you and I were discussing during a break, John, they don't think it's going to happen. What do you say?
I think that's right. Tariffs are taxes. There's just no question about that. So what we're going to do, if this happens, if the government imposes these tariffs on imported cars, we're going to have higher prices for American consumers and fewer vehicle choices. It's a terrible day for consumers if that in fact goes forward. And you know, the question you really have to ask yourself is, who are we protecting? The industry's thriving. You know, we're selling and producing and exporting at or near record levels in the United States of America. So if this is an effort to protect the industry, we're doing great.
Exporting at record levels?
We are. We're exporting 2 million cars and trucks every year from
Not a lot of them are making their way to China, though.
Well, no, they're not. But you know, that's a conversation for the U.S. and China to work out. But
you don't like the way the president expanded this to all auto imports. Is there any saving grace for those who have factories here?
No, I think in fact it's the opposite, and it's a great question because we have 13 car companies building cars here in the United States. And what these tariffs will do is, first of all, they apply to auto parts as well as finished vehicles. So,
but not at the 25% level.
Well, we don't know yet.
Right.
We honestly we won't know. This is an investigation, and the tariffs get set at the end of the investigation if, in fact, that's where the administration goes. But there's no question they're looking at making auto parts more expensive, which makes the cost of producing cars in the United States more expensive. Also, do you think our trading partners will stand idly by and just take this? I think we're going to face retaliation, which will increase the cost of producing and selling those 2 million cars we're exporting around the world. So I think it's a very, very challenging environment for automakers here in the United States as well.
Now, the president seems to work on, and I don't know if this is the case, that I'll never have to fire the weapon if I just threaten that I have the weapon. In other words, these tariffs are in my hip pocket just in case the other side doesn't bend. Ostensibly the Chinese. What do you think of that?
Well, look, if I'm a car customer, I don't want to be considered leverage. You
might want to buy early. Buy now while the getting's good.
Maybe, but you know, also if I'm an auto worker and I'm making a Toyota Camry in Kentucky, or frankly, I'm making a Ford in Kentucky, I don't want to be leverage either. I think that's a dangerous game. I think the better way to do this is through trade negotiations. We need more negotiations. Frankly, we need better and more opportunities to sell abroad.
All right. People are going to flip that around and say, just buy American. As you pointed out, there are Americans making these foreign cars, the Toyotas and the Hondas, all this other stuff in factories in the United States. But that the president is pushing, just take pride in American cars that have vastly improved. Their quality has improved. We can more than prove that to customers who might be ticked off about these tariffs, you say?
Well, is that Toyota Camry in Georgetown, Kentucky, a less American car than, say, a Ford built in Dearborn? In fact, the Toyota Camry built in Georgetown, Kentucky, if you look at government figures, probably has more U.S. content in it than any other car made here in America. So this question of what an American car is...
But it's benefiting a foreign parent company.
That money is being reinvested in Georgetown, Kentucky, and in their plants all around the country.
Do you think the president's being short-sighted?
I think that we have to take a broader and more strategic approach to benefiting the U.S. auto industry. And we have to recognize that the U.S. auto industry is 14 companies now, not 3 or 2.
All right. How is the auto industry doing? I mean, car sales have been very, very strong. Might have slowed down a bit with the uptick in rates. The uptick in rates continues right now in and out of 7-year mortgage highs. But I'm sure on consumer loans, it's something similar. Are you worried?
Yeah. No, I'm not. I think, as I said, sales are at or near record highs. I mean, they may have peaked a bit from what we've seen over the last year or so, but sales remain pretty good. Production levels are good. We're exporting, as I said. So I'm feeling very good about the industry right now. Again, it's interesting. This is not like the steel and aluminum industry, which said, hey, look, we're struggling to restructure. We need protection. This industry's thriving.
I'm wondering if what we're looking at now in the auto industry is a shift in sentiment brought on by gas prices that are jumping. I know everything. Americans have been buying these sport utility vehicles with, not the best gas mileage behind them, and that might change with this. What do you think?
I don't know yet. Certainly, that has been the trend. As gas prices come down, what we see is U.S. consumers buy larger trucks and SUVs and crossovers, and in fact, that is very much the case. More than half, probably close to 2/3 of what Americans are buying in the marketplace today are CUVs, crossover utility vehicles, sport utility vehicles, and pickup trucks.
Does that change? Does it follow gas prices?
In the past, it has.
Really?
In the past, it has. So if you go back to the time of maybe $4 to $5 gas, that ratio of cars to trucks was closer to 50-50 and maybe even favoring cars a little bit. So the market does change based on the price of gas, absolutely.
Because there was one lady I was behind at a gas station the other day, and she must have gotten the tab on filling up her SUV, and it was a lot, because I just sort of,
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, the good news, though, is American producers are making every segment is becoming more efficient, so that we can tell her to find a more efficient SUV if she.
I don't know, I think she's still there right now, in a state of shock.